Daylight saving time. Have you ever wondered why do we switch the time twice a year? And this is so annoying. They just make the life so much more difficult. What's the point of that? And today we're going to talk about it. And there's actually bipartisan consensus and agreement that they want to abolish this daylight saving time stuff. So basically, it's to make just no change a year forward. So it's like a push for the permanent daylight saving time. Just yesterday, March 14th, we experienced the spring forward. So we are now currently in the daylight saving time. And what we want to do is eventually we just stay in daylight saving time forever without switching back to the winter mode. Okay, so that's really crazy thing, and that's what we're going to talk about. So let's just talk about why the daylight saving time was there in the first place. So it's actually can be traced back to way back 100 years ago, 1916. It's actually first introduced by Germany, and that's their effort to kind of conserve their fuel consumption during World War One. So that's because the argument is if they use the daylight saving time, they can use the lights, the artificial lights, they powered by electricity less, so they can conserve more their energy for war. They also later on introduced to the U.S., also Canada, other countries as well. So those, especially those on the high latitude, the countries there on the high latitude. So they introduced this. So now what happens? They switch twice a year. On the spring, there's a spring forward, and then on the fall, there's a fall back. So in the winter, your time will become like after the fall forward, you will find out the sunset time kind of bring forward 1 hour, and after the spring forward, you find out your sunset time kind of a push back for 1 hour. So now, before yesterday, the sunset was like 6 o'clock. Then after yesterday, which is since now on, the sunset is like 7 p.m. So I got 1 more hour to go around the city after work. That's actually great. And so personally, I don't really like this kind of switching because I like daylight saving time. Because I always want to enjoy more daylight after work. And in the winter, after the fallback, I really have literally no daytime after work, which is like they say after 5 or 6 p.m. It's already very dark. But if we stay on the daylight saving time forever, they will still have some daylight after work, even during winter. So that's the thing. And the reason that daylight saving time switching is not working anymore is because I would argue that the lifestyles of now, the modern people, is very different. It's just not like before. The time we go to work, we go back to home, is also very different from 100 years ago. So that's really not good. And not to mention, switching the daylight saving time is very costly, economically, psychologically, because they will affect your sleeping time. So that every time you switch, like like a spring forward yesterday, they will make people's sleeping time 1 hour less, and they will cause a lot of cardiovascular diseases, and also a lot of car crashes, car accidents. That's really a lot of statistics about that. You can check it out. And if the crucial is not like daylight saving time or not. It's about switching. If you switch 1 hour, they will just cost a lot. It's like the time difference. If you go to another country, you experience time difference. That's actually not good for your body. If you experience that every day, your body will be destroyed. So that's why there's a lot of it's been pushing to stay in the daylight saving time, like for very long. But a lot of states actually have state-wise legislation. They want to push this, but in the federal level, they still haven't yet. And in Canada, where I am, we already been wanting to stay in this permanently stay in daylight saving time (DST) for a long time. But the problem is we need to be aligned with the U.S. We don't really want to just switch by ourselves because our economics and everything is very connected. So we want to like switch it to get all together. So that's why. And there's a really good news. 2021, there's bipartisan efforts in the U.S. They wanted to stay in the daylight saving time forever, which is really good thing to see. Really good to see. Really good to see. So I really want to like this time should be the North American last switch to daylight saving time, and we should stay here forever. And we still have 6 months to push this forward. If we can really, if the U.S. can really pass this law, pass this bill, then the whole North America maybe can really don't have to switch back, don't have to fall back in the fall time, in the autumn. All right, so that's the benefits of the stay in the daylight saving time forever. And personally, I totally 120% agree with that. And what do you think? Do you like switching time back and forth? Do you find that annoying? Leave me in the comment section below. And if you would like to receive more technology or like a fun news review like this, don't forget to subscribe. And other than that, I will see you next time.